Hello, Gemini. Thank you so much for joining me again. So as always, before we get started, we're going to take a look at your oracle cards. And this week, Gemini, from Le Vampire, you pulled the monster within. Internal struggle, personal challenges, and wanting to improve. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Victim, which is a card that I don't think I've ever seen drawn. This is the first time that I've seen this in any of the readings I've done. These two cards are really talking about the internal struggle that is going on for some of you. The monster within is talking about using discipline every day to create new ways of dealing with frustrations and difficulties. It's about turning your faults and your flaws into your strengths. And Victim from Chakra Wisdom is talking about how some of you may be blaming others or holding on to some past resentments when it comes to things that you've experienced. But it's like you're learning that in order to grow through these experiences, there needs to be some internal work done with the monster within. The quote for Victim says, "I am not a victim. I choose to do what I am doing." Basically, it's saying that we are responsible for the things that we create in our lives. Unfortunately, sometimes what we're wanting is blocked by other people's actions. The problem here with Victim is that there is like the immediate feeling of wanting to blame other people. And instead, it's saying that it's time to start taking actions and growing in the experiences that you're having and letting go of those resentments. And that's where the monster within comes in. All right, Gemini. And before we get started here, I have to say that, you know, with Victim showing up and seeing the monster within, I understand. Like, I would do the same thing. I would immediately start blaming others for, you know, the difficulties that I'm facing. To me, it almost seems like a natural reaction when things aren't working out the way that you intended them to, especially if people are involved with that. All right. Here's the energy coming through. Damn it, Gemini. The Five of Swords. I would be careful here, again, about letting your ego get the best of you when it comes to situations where there are extreme difficulties happening, especially with other people. The Five of Swords is, you know, the one-upmanship, right? It's the hollow victory. There's no truth here. It's just bullshit. For some of you, it may be that you are unintentionally getting caught up in other people's problems. And I think for some of you, you know, when it comes to these situations where communication is involved, it's just not happening. You know, extreme miscommunications here. But we'll see what is going on with this Five of Swords. So in the past, the Knight of Pentacles. You know, I'm getting the sense here, just looking at what's going on. You had plans. You had long-term plans here. The Knight of Pentacles is about sustainability. When we start putting our plans into actions, it can be slow going, but it's the purpose here is to have something that is long-lasting. And I have to wonder here if, you know, people are working against you and it's creating these problems with the plans that you have. Like, the plans that you're making, other people are opposing. But it's in an extreme case here. You know, I would rather have seen like the Five of Wands show up, but this is a little bit different here. And there's this feeling of, you know, damn it, why aren't you listening to me? And letting that anger like get a hold of you. In the present, the Three of Cups. Okay, Gemini, I'm telling you, when it comes to your friendships and the people that you're working with, communication is not happening. Not happening. It's like you're having difficulty with the people that you have around you where, you know, with the Three of Cups, this is supposed to be your support system, right? There's also celebration here. And when you're looking at it in the reverse, it can talk about like overindulgence or overdoing things, over celebrating, right? But the feeling for me around this already has to do with somebody overstepping their bounds when it comes to the things that you are planning for your own future. And it's like, I think for some of you, you're not having it. hell no, that's not happening. I'm tired of dealing with these people. I'm tired of the things that they're saying. I'm tired of dealing with these arguments. And the focus seems to be around these people that are causing this kind of conflict for you. There it is. There it is. There it is. Future conditions, the Five of Wands. I think for Gemini, you're having extreme difficulties in working well with others and communicating with others right now, but then this can also speak to others that are opposing you and your own plans, because I get the sense here, looking at what's happening, is that you know what you want to do here with the Knight of Pentacles. You're starting to put this into action here, and you have things planned out, but other people are interrupting this, and they're like opposing you. It's almost like there are people trying to say, no, that's not right, or almost like you don't deserve that, you know. And it's other people that are causing the conflict. The problem here is with the Five of Wands coming out and connected with the Five of Swords, it's you're letting it get to you. You're letting these things get to you. And it could be that some of you are letting it get to you in a really negative way, which is why the monster within is showing up. Or, you know, there's this other feeling here too, where you may feel like you're being trampled on by the opinions and views of others when it comes to what you are trying to create. And this is overwhelming, because it's like what I'm feeling just from these first few pulls here is that this is about you. Why are other people involved? What the hell are they doing? What I am trying to do is for me, not for you. So damn it, why are you getting involved in this? And I can understand the frustration. And again, that's where that feeling with victim was coming in. Like I felt like I needed to say it. It's hard. It's hard. It's one thing for somebody to tell you, you know, there are no victims, right? We hear this all the time. There are no victims. We are responsible for what we create in our lives. But we cannot control other people. The only thing that we can control is the way that we respond to these situations. And a lot of times it's a hell of a lot easier said than done. And really, if I had people that, you know, and it almost feels like you thought that these were your friends. You thought that these were people that were working with you on your plans. And all of a sudden it's like, they're like, no. I would be pissed too. I would be pissed. And there's almost like this sense of wanting to get even, almost. And honestly, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's wrong. I can't condone it. But I don't blame you if some of you are feeling this way. But I think a lot of you are facing some extreme opposition. It may have to do with the people that you're working with. It may have to do with some of the people that, you know, you looked at as friends. Whatever the situation is here, it's not good. And really, there's a need to be careful about where it leads you in terms of, some of you might get nasty. Some of you might get a little bit nasty about it. And again, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I can't condone it, but I don't blame you. Your best path to follow, the Seven of Cups. And, you know, here's the thing. When Spirit is pointing this out, it's saying that you need clarity around the way that you handle these kinds of situations. Here's the thing with the Seven of Cups. We sometimes, when we get into wishful thinking, we have to be careful about wishing harm upon others who create conflict in our lives. That's the other thing I feel like I need to say here. When we look at the different options that we have, we tend to fantasize about what that would look like. You know, what would happen, or having like an obscured view on the options and the decisions that we need to make. But I think for a lot of you here, you really need to be careful about, you know, be careful how you respond to this situation. What is going on in your mind may not be the best path to follow. And there's a need to like look at it differently here with the Seven of Cups. The other thing too is, I think for some of you, you may be having difficulty on what the hell do I do here? You know, like what am I supposed to do? Man, oh man, Gemini. And I still get this feeling that, you know, I thought you were my friends. Like, I thought that you guys were supporting me, is the feeling around this. But the Seven of Cups, you know, be careful about when you're thinking about taking action, how you're viewing it, what your fantasies are about, you know, what the potential outcome could be from the decisions that you make here, is the best way for me to put it. In your environment, death. And there you go. There you go. I'm looking at this and I'm like absorbing it all in, and I can understand why death is in the environment, because I really do feel like that there needs to be a change with you internally. You know, again, it is the phoenix rising from the ashes, but it's saying that the old way of being, the old way of thinking, and the old way of acting is done. It's dead. The past way of dealing with situations needs to be over with. Phew, Gemini. You know, there's a feeling like coming out of last week's reading too, where I think for some of you, some things got a little bit out of control as far as how involved you got in with people like intruding themselves on your lives and your decisions and the things that you are planning. But, you know, I want to say that these things happen for a reason, and it is for our own growth, but that is extremely hard to see in situations like this. I think that the best advice that I can give, just with what is being pulled here, if you're looking to retaliate, you might want to rethink it. Because, you know, as tempting as it may be, I think the best thing to do is to cut it off here and let yourself go through, you know, the transformation that you need to, especially with the monster within, you know, changing the way that you deal with these situations and the way that you let them affect you. You know, this old way of being is done now. It's dead. It's gone. This is making way for the new you and how you deal with these situations. Man, oh man. Your hopes and your fears, the Six of Pentacles, and it makes sense to me. The Six of Pentacles is the give and take. It's giving and receiving. And what are you truly receiving here? You know, hoping to receive good things, right? And you're only ever going to receive what you put into something. And if you're putting in negative, that is what you're going to receive back. And I really feel like Spirit here is trying to tell you that it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but really, again, you know, it goes back to you dealing with situations with intelligence and grace. But it can be hard. It can be hard when people are interjecting themselves into our lives and opposing what you have planned. Like, what the hell, you know? And death being in your environment too could say that, you know, for some of you, this may be like the end of friendships that you thought that you had, people moving on and out of your life now, you cutting that off, these situations coming to an end. But, you know, the Six of Pentacles and your hopes and your fears, just remember here, what you put into it is what you're going to get out. And you don't want to receive more of this, like, fighting between the people that you thought cared about you that maybe need to be gone now. You know, maybe these people truly don't understand you or appreciate you. And then the outcome, the Nine of Cups. And here you go. So here's the thing with the Nine of Cups. It is a fantastic outcome, but my warning here is looking at the fives connected with the Nine of Cups. Be careful about going into like addictive behaviors. You know, and here's the thing. I would be like, fuck it, give me a drink, right? But you don't want to do that to yourself. But the Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. It's happiness, having your wishes fulfilled, being happy with the things that you have. And I think that's the important thing here when you're looking at your outcome. You are responsible for the things that you manifest in your life. And you are responsible for your own happiness. The other thing too here is that sometimes we have a tendency to put our happiness in the hands of others. And they will fail to create it for us because it comes from within. We have to find our own inner happiness before we can see it without. You know, there's an opportunity here for you to start receiving better things in your life through the changes that you make for yourself. And be careful about wanting to retaliate against people who you thought were your friends and supported you, but are opposing your own plans for your own life. All right, Gemini, we're going to take a look at soul trees. This one was difficult, and you know, these readings happen for a reason. And I think that Gemini is having difficulty with the people that they're working with, you know, the people that they have personal relationships with. But the way that you handle this is going to determine the outcome here. You know, again, we're responsible for our own happiness. Don't ever place your happiness in the hands of others, because they will fail. And live from your heart. Basically here, Spirit is trying to tell you that these outside influences only affect you if you allow them to. Tranquility is something that, again, we need to find from within. And that's when it starts to appear from without. Treat yourself better. Don't allow these people to make you feel bad about yourself. I feel like people are purposely like interjecting themselves into your lives when they know they shouldn't be, and causing this like opposition against your own life and what you are trying to do. Live from your heart. When you start to live from your heart, energy starts to shift. What is important here is not the influences of other people and the way that they may oppose you. What is important is your own happiness, and you are responsible for creating that. Free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. This reading was meant for somebody to hear. I do not know who I'm connecting with here, but I am definitely feeling the anger surrounding this, of people interjecting themselves in your life. And in some cases, you may have people trying to wedge themselves between you and your partner. You know, for some of you, this could be a need to free yourself from harmful relationships. But for those of you who are happy, there is a need to free yourself from the outside influences from others. Nobody knows what happens behind closed doors. What happens between you and your partner is your business and your business alone. Nobody else has a right to say anything about it. So if you're dealing with those kinds of situations, it is time for you to start standing up for yourself and voicing truly how you feel about other people interjecting themselves into your relationships. But take back control of your life. Okay, Gemini, so here's the thing with tarot. A lot of times when we're doing these readings, it's going to bring to the surface the things that we may not want to face or may not want to deal with. But the beauty here is that it's not going to resonate with everybody. But this reading is coming out for a reason. And I hope that whoever this is meant for, that they find it and that it helps them in some way. What I feel like is happening here is that you have people who you thought were your friends interjecting themselves into your life and into your plans. And what they're doing isn't right. It's not right. People are putting themselves in your life when they shouldn't be, and maybe saying things that they shouldn't be, or talking behind your back. Whatever it is that these people are doing, they do not have good intentions. And it's creating this feeling of anger. And I don't blame you. I can't condone whatever actions are taken, but I don't blame you. And I think that's where victim and the monster within is coming through here. I have never seen this card pulled. And to see it in connection with this reading makes complete sense to me. I would want to be blaming these people as well. But the problem is that when the Seven of Cups shows up as your best path to follow, I would be careful about the action that you take and the communications that are happening here, because the way that you're thinking about it may not be the best thing for you to actually act out. And that's just for your own benefit. But I think what happens here is that you start to realize that the best thing to do is to cut these people out of your life, because you don't want to continue to receive that kind of bullshit going back and forth. So you really make a deep change in yourself. And I think you guys start getting back to your plans, the things that you have set for yourself that you want to accomplish. And then you have the Nine of Cups. And again, seeing this as the outcome, Even if this reading doesn't resonate with you, the message here alone I think is important to everybody. We are responsible for creating our own happiness. When we put it in the hands of others, they will fail to create it. And unfortunately, as much as we like to think that we have control over the things that are happening, we do not have control over other people. And it makes things even more difficult. But what we can control is the way that we react to it. A lot easier said than done when people are pissing you off. And I don't blame you. I think some of you might get a little bit nasty. And again, I can't condone it, but I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Just be careful about the actions that you take and the things that you say, because you don't want it to be something that you're going to regret later. Focus on your happiness, not on the problems that these people are creating. And I think that's where treat yourself better and live from your heart is coming in here, because it's meant to shift your energy when you start thinking about creating your own happiness instead of focusing on people who are trying to wedge their way into your life, right? They're only able to do that because we allow it to happen. Now, when it comes to tranquility, totally understandable out of this. You need to find some inner peace and some inner tranquility when it comes to this situation. As far as love goes, I think flirt is showing up for the singles, because I think this is going to be a welcome distraction. And again, you know, if you have people talking shit about your relationship, don't pay attention to it, because if you give your attention to that, that is what you're going to start to receive, and you don't want to do that. So, you know, if this is a welcome distraction, flirt. Change your energy from that anger to that lighthearted feeling. And then for those of you who are in a relationship, seeing free yourself. If some of you are in harmful relationships, whether they're romantic or not, it's time to get away from this kind of energy here between these two fives. It's no good. And, you know, for those of you who are happy, again, you need to free yourself from that kind of bullshit. But on the other hand, you know, for some of you, it may be that you need to free yourself from a harmful relationship. But I'm hopeful with the Nine of Cups coming out. I just think that it's important for whoever this is meant for to understand that your happiness is your responsibility. And you can create happiness in your life. It may be difficult to do when you're faced with these kinds of situations, but really it's up to you. And I think, again, with death, you start to realize that this shit needs to come to an end so that you can create your own happiness.